important you understand it is essential to comply with health and safety law. Across the UK, the Health and Safety Executive are the enforcement agency for this law. The Health and Safety Executive provide practical advice and guidance on how to comply with the law. If you follow that advice, you will be doing enough to comply with the law, but only in respect of those matters on which that advice provides. It is always good practice to adhere to all the HSE's advice and all published guidance, but you may use other alternative methods to comply with the law. But if you are prosecuted for breach of health and safety law, and it is proved you did not follow the Health and Safety Executive's advice or guidance, but chose your own method, you will need to show and be able to prove you have complied with the law in some other way, or a court will find you at fault. On 1st October 2012, the Health and Safety Executive brought in a cost recovery scheme. Under the Health and Safety Fees Regulations 2012, those who break the health and safety laws are liable for recovery of Health and Safety Executives related costs, including inspection, investigation, and taking enforcement action. For some, this has been a costly introduction. Not just the fees themselves, but the damage to reputation and an increase in insurance costs. Additionally, as the fee is based on the amount of time the Health and Safety Executive's inspector has to spend identifying the breach, helping the company to put it right, and any subsequent investigation and enforcement actions, the fees can be considerable. The estimated costs include £750 per letter and £1,500 per notice, but Health and Safety Executive's time spent is also chargeable on an inclusive hourly basis, and, in some cases, the resulting invoice can be extensive. If an FFI case goes to court and you are acquitted, you will not be recompensed for your costs. It makes sound business sense to make sure that, in the event of prosecution, you have sufficient cover for any legal costs. When a company is constituted under company's law, cover needs to include the legal costs of senior directors too, who may often be prosecuted alongside the company or in their own right. Any breaches of health and safety laws made by contractors that incur a prohibition or enforcement notice from the Health and Safety Executive are now likely to receive an invoice for time in addition to any fines for costs that may be imposed by the courts at a later date. Under the Health and Safety Fees Regulations 2012, those who break health and safety laws are liable for recovery of Health and Safety Executives' related costs, including inspection, investigation, and taking enforcement action. The Health and Safety Executive will, under FFI, reclaim its cost from the guilty party at a rate of £124 per hour. Recovery of the costs will start from the moment of intervention where a material breach, which is a contravention of health and safety law, is identified, up until the point where Health and Safety Executive's intervention, investigating and taking enforcement action, has concluded. The scheme is not designed to make a profit, say the HSE, but only to recover costs and make those who break the law liable for the costs of rectifying their failures rather than the general taxpayer. Health and Safety Chief Executive said, "The most basic safety mistakes in the workplace can devastate lives and result in real costs to industry. It is right for those who fail to meet their legal obligations should pay Health and Safety Executives' costs rather than the public purse." Our new course provides instruction and training based around HSE's guidance on the legal requirements in the Construction Design and Management Regulations of 2015. The CDM regulations were first introduced to the UK and enacted into UK law in 1994 under the enabling provisions of the Health and Safety at Work, etc. Act of 1974. The CDM regulations were changed in 2007, but they are replaced on 6th of April 2015. Throughout all those changes in the UK, the originating European directive has remained unchanged. As with previous years, the latest CDM 2015 regulations contain enhanced transitional provisions to cover projects which are already underway on the 6th of April 2015. These limited provisions will allow for CDM coordinators already appointed on projects which span across the date of 6th of April 2015 to remain in post for 6 months, or to the end of the project, whichever is the earlier. It must be understood that this legal relaxing to allow transition of the existing CDM coordinator role will only apply to a particular project and not to the overall practice and operations of a CDM coordinator to simply adopt the role of the principal designer for any new projects that commence after the 6th of April 2015, unless that person or organisation has the appropriate capability and knowledge to competently undertake the new statutory roles under CDM 2015. The transition period ends for all on the 6th of October 2015, or on an earlier date the particular project may come to its end. Where a particular project may extend beyond 6th of October 2015, it is implicit that the role of the previous CDM coordinator must end and be replaced by a principal designer who must be appointed by the client in writing. The arrangement of contents of the new CDM 2015 regulations must be completely understood by all those who have statutory duties under the regulations and more. The authoring team that won national acclaim for our work in 2007 again create the best training to prepare for the new regulations. Course material and appropriate tests are principally delivered online and can be accessed at any time using PCs, tablets and smartphones anywhere. Simply just log on to the Pan-European Training Portal and get the best. See you there, and let's work together as a team. Thank you.